Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Hi, thank you for being here. I want to talk a little bit about a subject that the next Go Show is going to touch on, but I think requires another one of my famous analogies. But I think it's something that most of us, especially Nichiren Buddhists, will come across this term itai-doshin quite often. And I think it's easy to miss the meaning of itai-doshin because the description is always almost a cliche. The idea that we are many in body but one in mind. And I think in the West, that kind of thinking is inculcated into our culture as a sort of a giving up of our identity. I think that's a very dangerous mental place to go, and let me explain it. Well, I'll start with a very common thing that we hear in the West, that there is no I in team. Let's go. You know, sports, you hear it a lot, but you also hear it in corporate America and all sorts of places where there are many of you, many in body, and the idea is to all get with the program and let's push forward and make this other thing great, the team, the franchise, the business, whatever, right? And there's that's never sat well with me because there's an aspect of it that's the rebound of it or the fallout from it is that you don't matter. You don't matter as an individual. You only matter as part of the team. And there's something very negating in that. And so the way, and I've always fought against it, when I've gotten the emails in corporate culture, I always send back, well, you're wrong. If all you're concerned about is spelling, then grammatically you're correct. Hooray for you. But I'm here to tell you that without each individual I who's working to their utmost, there is no team. There is no effort. You're asking for supplicants. You're asking for people to give up their own initiative, sense of worth, sense of contribution and value. And you're saying, that's not important. Back that off. Make your identity the team, the everybody around you. There's something very deflating about that. And so it's very easy, because that's in our culture in so many ways, to hear the term itai-doshin, or the meaning of many in body, one in mind, in that same way. So my silly mind came up with a visual of a hovercraft. Now, I don't know, many of you may not know what a hovercraft is. I'm from Quebec, and one of the innovations of the 1967 World's Fair in Montreal was this huge hovercraft. For those of you who don't know, very simply, a hovercraft can be a very small thing or a very large thing. These were like aircraft carriers. So basically, it's a platform with a skirt around it and many fans underneath it that blow air at the ground and therefore lift the platform and thereby allow this platform to navigate over water and land like they're the same thing. It's very innovative, very interesting. There are flaws to it, but for this analogy, I think it might be useful. So picture, if you will, this floating platform, as big as an aircraft carrier, if you will. It's very huge, right? And all of us, you and me, and all of the people in our Sangha, are individual fans underneath this hovercraft. And with our daimoku, that's our fan blades, we're going to push air at the ground to lift the platform. Okay? Now, some of us will be lackadaisical about it. Others of us will be really inspired. I alone will lift this whole platform. And we really hard daimoku, and we're pushing wind at the ground and lifting the platform. And some of us are like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm just going to go through the day. And Namo Myo Renge Kyo. I did my, and we'll go about our day. And so there's all these different intensities, right? Because heck, how hard do I have to work? There's 1,000 more of me here. Namo Myo Renge Kyo, right? So if you think of it as air being pushed at the ground to lift this platform, it probably doesn't take long for you to figure out that those who are really challenging themselves to be the utmost in their awakening, their commitment, their resolve, are going to push up that platform higher, more effectively than those who are just going through the motions, right? And they may not even get the platform off the ground with their energy. They're relying on everyone else around them, who many of them may be doing the same thing. And here's this hovercraft who's trying to move and off the ground in one corner, but the other end is just dragging through the dirt and sinking into the water because, there's no I in team. And so what I want to say about that, so that you can wrap your mind around what itai-doshin is and how in Buddhism we think, is that there is no team without I's. You see, I've said it many times, you've heard me say this, that Buddhism and Buddhahood, the experience of our awakened Buddha wisdom, Buddha mind, Buddha-ness, is only experienced through our human existence, our human mind. It's a perceptive shift. So again, if we say Buddhahood is just, an effect of everybody getting together in a room, and it's not the individual, it's the whole that's Buddhahood. That's not Buddhism. Buddhism is singular. It's about my Buddhahood, your awakening, my awakening, together, but not diluted as an entirety. This is why Sangha has so much power, because of the individuals in it, all experiencing their own awakening. The force of Buddha-ness is the same, but it is individual and unique to each and every one of us. So if every one of us is chanting to the highest development of our resolve, the highest potential that we each have, then the hovercraft is easily lifted. We don't do it in isolation. It's kind of a duality. It's samsara, right? I say all the time that our practice is singular because it requires of us our own commitment in order to do it in whatever way our life experience requires us to do it. That's a very personal thing. But because also in Buddhism, there is no such thing as a self as separate from environment, as separate from other, that's a delusion. Then we also know, as we focus on our own enlightenment, that we are doing this amidst a great society of humanity. And the very concept of Kozen-rufu is that we gain as many footholds in others to do the same. This is how we affect the world, because as we enlighten, so does our environment. It's not separate, it's connected. The delusion is samsaric, and that delusion is what creates statements like, there is no I in team. But there is, in fact, a great number of I's. Otherwise, there would be no team. Do you see how you need to flip that on its head? This is the meaning of itai-doshin. That each of us focuses on our practice of Buddhism, our daimoku, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, with the ichinen, to be like a hovercraft, like a tent post. You can't put up a post in the middle of a tent without lifting the sides. If the sides are completely anchored to the ground and not allowing you to grow, then your growth is limited. The hovercraft won't get off the ground. You need to elevate your potential. And so does each other of us in the Sangha do the same. Then the hovercraft is very easy to lift because we're all committed with the same resolve. Now, someone on the outside may look at that hovercraft and go, wow, that's quite a team. But that's just a convenient grammatical description of many eyes working to their maximum potential, together, unseparated, as a Sangha, all individually putting in their maximal effort. This is what makes the Sangha great. This is what itai-doshin is. Does that make sense? All right. So it's an important concept because this is one of the great responsibilities of our practice, is that to the degree that we get lazy, we are affecting our entire environment. My success, your success in anything is directly related to the success of the components of your environment. Your house, the way you eat, your friendships, your neighbors, your transport, your business, whatever is around your life is always interacting with your sense of self. Always. You know this. So how could it be any different when you practice Buddhism? This is why I've also often said that Buddhism is a practice of ultimate responsibility. Because as much as, and we all get into those positions where we're so consumed with our needs and our pains and our suffering individually, me, my, that sometimes that's our greatest motivator to go to mandala and chant to our Gohonzon, our enlightened nature, to find the strength, to find the potential, to find the clarity, to answer liberation from whatever it is that's causing this suffering, right? This is our Buddhist practice. But every now and again, we understand, because we see in our own environments the result of that karmic relationship, right? And then, at some point in your practice, it becomes obvious that it's not just you. that's altering your life condition, but that the life conditions around others around you, that surround you, either in your immediate environment, maybe it's your family, maybe it's, again, just your work environment, maybe you're an independent contractor, but your clients seem to be different. They are affected. When you start to understand that that's a constant, not a blip, not an interesting occurrence, not just when we talk about proof in Buddhism, this is a great measure of what proof is that we see the results in what we ordinarily, samsarically, would see as something else, but is in fact ours. It's the same. Your life condition changes all the conditions in your life, including your environment. Itai-doshin. Now, if those in your environment can also be working with that in their lives, and you're assisting them, Bodhisattva way, now look at the multiplication, the exponential effect of a community of individuals, a community of actual geographic proportion, cities, nations, the world, right? Itai-doshin, Kozen Rufu. And how much more do you expand and enlighten and clear your experience of life if you include all of that? That's amazing. It's immense. It's a little scary. But it's also an interesting little voice in our samsaric minds that reminds us when you're slacking, you're not just slacking for you. You're not just saying, well, I'll kick back today. When you say that in your mind, you should see thousands of eyes looking at you going, oh yeah? That's what I mean by the responsibility of Buddhist practice. Don't allow yourself to slack off. Because even if you don't respect yourself enough to continue to work toward your maximal potential, and we all have those days, it's not just yourself that you're affecting. And see, it becomes a terrible cycle, doesn't it? Because if you feel lowly about yourself and lazy, and you don't do your daimoku, you don't look to, and I don't mean you're going to feel like Superman every day or Superwoman every day. I'm just saying commit to know that that's where the resolve's going to come from. That's where the enlightenment's going to come from. Even if you're sick and just don't feel like doing it, just do it. Because your environment is listening. And if you get lazy, your environment is listening too. And when your environment gets lazy, then you find that it's really much more difficult for you to get back into the go of things. You have less support. You have less. That can get depressing, right? Because then nothing seems to be going your way. Well, whose fault is that? Nothing's going your way because you're not going your way. So even if you don't feel you can put much energy to it, continue to walk the path. Continue to go your way. And your environment will support that. It has to. itai-doshin. Okay, so I hope that clarifies the idea. This is a very Buddhist idea, and I'll leave it at that. And then I'll do the next Go show will be many in body, one in mind. I think, yeah, many in body, one in mind. So we'll see what Nichiren has to say about it. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. See you in a boat. A boat? Yeah, a hovercraft. Thanks for being here.